to introduce our next panelist, who is Zoe Quinn. She is an independent game developer and activist originally targeted by an online hate group that came to be known as Gamergate, which was started by an ex-boyfriend to ruin her life. She has just gone on to co-found Crash Override Network, a support group for people dealing with online harassment and online abuse prevention initiative, a nonprofit dedicated to creating technical solutions to a social problem.
Thank you for having me. As everybody has mentioned, I've been targeted by a campaign like this. In August of last year, I finally walked away from a dysfunctional, abusive relationship. And unfortunately, when you get out of a relationship, when you get out of a relationship, things have ended at that point. But in my case, using similar techniques as viral marketing, my ex engineered a manifesto and put it directly into the hands of the people most likely to act on it in dangerous ways. The result, what followed made headlines across the globe due to how virulent and explosive it was. But even then, it's difficult to wrap your head around moment to moment of what this actually looks like for somebody going through it. When thousands of faceless strangers accept their sights on you, every single aspect of your life is bombarded and prodded until who you were before is gone, and your life becomes almost unrecognizable. The girl I used to sit down and check her email at work. You get the occasional fan letter, business correspondence, and spam email. These days, you're joined by death threats and graphic fantasies about raping me, often accompanied with my home address and proof that the sender has everything that they would need to carry through on it. The girl I used to be would call my father, talk about his health troubles, my work stress, and how I never called him enough. Now, after the mob found his home address and phone number along with mine, I ask how often he gets calls from them shouting horror into the receiver and pray that the stress from this isn't affecting his health worse. The girl I used to be would worry that meeting her boyfriend's parents would involve small talk and potentially awkward conversation if politics came up. When I met my partner Alex's family, who had been targeted for being associated with me, his supportive family jokes about the anti-Semitic slur-filled hate mail that they've been sent constantly as a result of the ongoing hate situation. The girl I used to be lived in Boston, but since all of these threats have continued unabated and actually escalated to the point that there's actually a cottage industry of people who contribute nothing but hatred of marginalized people that make these livings off of being these figureheads telling the mob where to go next. One of them decided it was wise to hire a PI to stalk my physical location and report back to them, thus making it so I could never go home again. Right now I live in Seattle. The girl I used to be would get contacted by press for information on exciting projects that I was working on and information on my design technique. Now I have to respond to requests wanting to look through the documentation of my almost year-long campaign of abuse. And I have to ask myself, do I show them everything? Do I shield them from the realities that a lot of these can include Photoshop pictures of my genitals of dead children, or do I actually let them see? And this is this comes after the 40th or 50th time going through cataloging my abuse for lawyers, cops, and judges that I see more often than my family these days. And it's nothing like what it was before. The girl I used to think that if I got into a bad situation with an ex, I could get a restraining order and help out and have legal help. The girl I am now sat before a magistrate at a show cause hearing and was told that no charges were being issued in the case of stalking and harassment, despite this blowing up to the point that it became a Law and Order SVU episode, and I was treated to seeing a simulacrum of me raped by gangs saying the same things that they had said to me for months on national television. I was told that if I didn't want to be treated like this online, I should simply stop posting. When I explained that the girl I used to be would conduct all of her business, met the love of her life, and reach out to her support network using the internet, I was told to find a new career. The fact is that I'm just one person, and when you have a mob of thousands of people poking at every single aspect of your life, trying to constantly find everything that they can use against you, which is how these things work. I am by no means special there. You've run into every failing in the system that you can possibly find, whether it's tech companies, whether it's law enforcement. You run into all of these things because it's crowdsourced harassment. Advertising online and cat videos are not the only thing that go viral. It's also domestic abuse. And as such, I now live in a career where I can't go into my workplace without having to live with the lingering effects of a domestic abuse campaign that have been lobbied on me for the last year. since it's been so difficult to try and live in this new reality, and since I've found that I'm by no means special, there are thousands of individuals just like me that have been in this situation. We have started Project Right Network, which provides assistance to people that are currently being targeted by mob abuse. However, all we can do for the most part is self-defense. We teach them how to secure their online identities, how to increase their information security techniques, and give them someone to talk to who's not going to tell them it's just the internet. However, we need more people. You know, every single one of us in the network, all of our agents have been people that have been exactly where I am, and they understand what the current situations are, but we're just a small group of people. We're just single people that have been targeted by mobs, and the conversation around online abuse is just getting started. We need more people to, you know, fight back against this sort of crowdsourced mob mentality of thousands of faceless strangers with nothing better to do. So there's so much that still needs to be done, just in terms of basic education, of talking with law enforcement officials so that they can sort of gain this literacy. With tech companies, like we're trying with OAPI, since they are our first line of defense, and we need people to come up with humane terms of services and the technologies to effectively implement them so that we can avoid things like overbroad legislation that will take away the anonymity of the internet, which, while it protects people who want to harass, it also protects people who are queer and speaking up for the first time. It protects whistleblowers. It protects people with mental health issues that are afraid of discussing things publicly. We stand to lose so much by not starting to police ourselves and by taking online harassment and anonymity seriously. And all of this work is geared towards hoping that we can create an internet where we don't have to worry about the threats to our civil liberties just because they're happening online.
Thank you very much, Zoe, and thank you for your bravery.